There's a lot of evidence that the Cayce readings were right, which means that their dates for the Sphinx and the pyramids were also right. We finally solved the first mystery of the Great Pyramid. When most people think of ancient Egypt, they think of the pyramids, which are without a doubt the country's most popular attraction. While the Great Pyramid of Egypt is thought to have been built around 4,500 years ago, the Great Sphinx of Giza is thought to be even older. The Sphinx is one of the most famous and interesting ancient structures. But what secrets does this huge stone beast hide? Could there be something under the Sphinx? Hello everyone, and welcome to our channel. Stay until the end to find out all the shocking secrets that scientists and archaeologists have found. The Great Sphinx of Giza is Egypt's ancient and current national symbol. It is a huge limestone statue with the body of a lion and the head of a man wearing a pharaoh's headdress. It is also one of the world's most famous landmarks, despite the fact that it isn't very interesting. Geologists and archaeologists study the Earth and the past. Egyptologists and others are still arguing about the answer to the Sphinx's long-standing puzzle. How old is it for sure? People think that the monolith is about 4,500 years old and was built for King Cayce of Egypt's 4th dynasty, who ruled from 2603 to 2578 BC. His pyramid is the second tallest of the Giza pyramids, after his father Khufu's Great Pyramid, to make up for its smaller size. Khafre's pyramid was built at a higher elevation and was surrounded by a more complicated complex with several statues, including the Sphinx, whose head is said to be built in the image of the pharaoh himself. However, not everyone believes that the Sphinx was built for Cayce, even though the Sphinx is located within the same pyrostatue Ofmit complex that has genera recognized ECOG having Cayce. This was pointed out by the fact that there are no contemporary inscriptions that explicitly link him with the stat recently. A new theory has emerged that says that supporters of this theory point to a lot of erosion of the limestone near the top of the Great Sphinx and say that the area last saw enough rain to cause this kind of erosion on limestone around 7000 BC. Dating the Sphinx this far back means that it was built by a more advanced society than the ancient Egyptians, which is an interesting but very controversial theory that most experts still accept. The Ancient Egypt Research Association and the American Egyptological Research Association both agree that the Sphinx and its temple were built with the rest of Cayce's pyramid complex and were among the last monuments to be finished. However, many researchers think that the Egyptian government is hiding something from the rest of the world after they found a hidden room, which they think is the Hall of Records. Cayce Edgar, also known as the Sleeping Prophet, was an American psychic and healer who became famous around the world for being able to accurately diagnose illnesses in people hundreds of miles away. He could tell people what was wrong with their bodies, tell you what was in a book, find something far away, and even read the Akashic record. During one of his many psychic trances, he saw the Book of Life. In one of his readings, Cayce said something very interesting about the Sphinx. Edgar Cayce said that the Sphinx and pyramids were built around 10,490 BC. There is a lot of evidence to suggest that the readings Cayce gave were accurate, so their dates for the Sphinx and pyramids were also accurate. Cayce gave dozens of the readings about the Sphinx until his death in 1945. According to these readings, the Sphinx was directly connected to an ancient civilization that many people thought existed on Earth, the lost continent of Atlantis. The Edgar Cayce readings say that Plato's Atlantis was not a myth and that he got information from the Egyptian priesthood and used it in his writings. The interesting part is that Plato says that Atlantis existed at the same time that ancient Egypt was going through what they called a golden age. Cayce had a dream that there was a room under the rightness of the Sphinx that held the Hall of Records from the ancient civilization of Atlantis, of which he felt he was a direct member. When Atlantis was about to be submerged, the people who lived there were well aware of the need to keep these records and hide prehistoric records. David Wilcox, a professor and researcher of ancient civilizations, says that if we find the original Hall of Records, we'll have access to something like Google, but it's the Atlantean internet, So the Sphinx is an entry point that could show once and for all that humans have been on Earth longer than we thought. 45 years after Cayce read the book, the Edgar Cayce Foundation starts the Sphinx Exploration Project. The main goal is to find secret rooms beneath the Sphinx that could lead to the Hall of Records. Surprisingly, they were allowed to drill holes under the Sphinx to find this possible chamber. They drilled a total of 8 holes, but nothing concrete was found. The Egyptian army caught up with them at the very last second, even though they were said to be close to their goal. They did, however, find things that could have been chambers under the Sphinx. One of the Hall of Records stories is that the Egyptian army caught up with them at the very last second. This room is sealed off, so the project ended there. Even though the official explanation was that a valuable ancient statue in Hawas's study was taken from Giza, Dr. Barker, who was the chief inspector of the Giza Pyramid Plateau, was fired after 3 months, and Dr. Noor Eldin took his place. Dr. Barker talked about a mafia that had been connected to the pyramids for the last 20 years, despite being accused of fraud and malpractice. Dr. Barker, who wouldn't give his name, said, "I wanted the whole thing looked into by the prosecutors, but they turned down my request." Dr. Hawes, who went to the United States, said that the door was found in Egypt and that he thought it might contain important things. Dr. Hawes returned to the Giza pyramids at the beginning of 1994. Gaten Brink gave his robot to the Egyptians and trained an Egyptian technician to use it and open the door. The Egyptians turned down the offer because they were too busy. Dr. Noor Eldin said that around the same time, Dr. Hawes said, "I don't think this is a door, and there's nothing behind it." However, in March 1996, Dr. Hawes changed his mind again and said that Gaten's discovery was very important. That's it for today. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to share and press the bell icon for more regular updates.